lipstick. I knew you was gonna have someone.
Yeah, I'm in my emo moment right now.
I love it. I went through that phase in high school. In fact, it was junior high, like junior high-ish. I went through a whole phase.
This is the real me. Like I am, like, for real, for real. It's not. I ain't want to do the usual Storm. This is the real me.
I'm wearing Halloween shirts all month, and I see yo Michael. Who is that? Michael
Like
Myers.
my
Yes. Well, I have my 13th Gate. It's a haunted house, a famous haunted house in New Orleans. Yeah, I went there with my goddaughter. She worked. She worked there last year, in fact, because she goes to LSU, and we went there. It was a really good haunted house. It was scary as hell, but yeah.
I go to New Orleans in March, so I'm gonna check that out.
Nice. That's what's up. This I'm practicing Storm for my fall aesthetic. I be changing up, trying to see what I want to do for fall. Like, I think I like the long hair, don't care. I don't know.
Oh no, Rowdy, because you are really giving skateboarder chic, and I like that. I really do.
Thank you. This is my film girl aesthetic. I'm not even gonna lie, because my director mode, if you ever see any photo of me on set, I got a snapback, a hat on. I'm never without a hat. It's my comfort. It's my blankie. I ain't gonna lie. It's like my little blankie. My comfort blankie.
I like it. It's giving that skateboarder thing. I like that. I like that. All you need is some big baggy jeans and some chains on the side of it.
Right.
You set. You set. But so let's get started. Tell me who you are, the genre you write, and what you want them to know before I dig into these questions.
So I am author Rowdy Rooksy. You can call me Rowdy. I write in the romance genre. And what is it that I want people to know about me? That y'all got to bear with me, because I am a behind the scenes gal, and social media and the trajectory at which it's gone has forced me to put myself in front of the camera. So I just need people to bear with me, because I am not good at it. I'm nervous all the time, but I'm doing it. So, just bear with the kid. That's all.
Girl, you got it. Quit playing.
Well, thank you. It's a struggle. Like, I be having to put on. That's why I'm like, okay, let me put my armor on, because
Girl, you just got to remember you got to do this.
I know. I'm doing it.
All right. So let's go. I ain't even going to start with Vanessa's choice yet, because I want to backtrack to where it all started. What made Rowdy say that I am going to jump into the writing game, that I am going to dip my hand in there and I am going to go full on out to write books?
Well, actually, that's a good question, because we were heavy doing filmmaking. Like, we were in the throes of it. We were writing. In fact, we were working on a project that would have been pitched to Netflix. Like, we were heavy in it. And then the pandemic happened.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really the catalyst, because we had to halt production on like everything. Like, even Hollywood, they like halted production. Nobody was really doing anything in the film industry. And so I was like, well, let's write these books. And so I had kind of that lag time in my creative life. And so I started publishing books.
So what made you say that I wanted to do romance, though?
I've always loved romance. I love that genre. From a very early age, because my mother was an avid reader, and she read Harlequin romance, because back then that's what it was.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah, I was sneaking reading her Harlequin romance novels at a very young age. And also she loved V.C. Andrews. And while I don't know if V.C. Andrews books are considered romance, but they have that element, but maybe like today we might call it a dark romance because of the themes, right? But I used to sneak and read my mother's books, and that's how I think I kind of got into the romance genre. But I do love, so the subgenres within romance, like I love like the paranormal romance, like the fantasy romance novels, the whole gamut. I just love, but I also love a good thriller and anything Stephen King. So
yeah, you can't go wrong with Stephen King.
yeah.
Okay, so when you started writing romance and you kind of just figured out how you wanted to go in with it, how do you make sure that your characters don't reflect too much of a falsehood, especially Black characters? How do you make sure they don't reflect a falsehood in what is the stereotype of Black people?
Man, that's a really good question, and my answer might be a little bit deeper than necessary,
Go
maybe.
for it. Rowdy, you already know they just be, when I'm listening to y'all as authors, y'all question or y'all answers help me make the questions come out of my mouth. I don't write it down, so it's just whatever pop in my head. So
Okay.
tell me.
It's a couple of things. For one, I'm a character writer. So my characters tell me their story. I am a pantser in the author world. That means we don't outline. We get an idea and we sit down and write. And for me, I write through my characters. So whatever voice the character comes to me in is how I write them. But what I will say, with Black, in the Black community in our culture, we are not a monolith. So we run the gamut. So me, the way I talk, my sister doesn't talk like me. She uses more AAVE. She's a lot more urban. So I tend to pull, I think when the characters talk, it comes from the world that I move in. And I move in a pretty eclectic world of people. So whether it's real urban, whether it's really staunch and, conservative, I don't even want to say educated, because speaking AAVE doesn't mean you're uneducated. It just, because I code switch when I'm with my sisters and family, a different Tracy can come out with how I talk. And I think that as long as my characters sound, move that way, that's what it is. Like in a lot of my stories, if you'll notice, I don't really drop the N-word that much. But that's because even in the world I move in, a lot of people don't use it, to be honest. They, in fact, say like ninja. They might say ninja. Some do, but for the most part, there's maybe a collective conscious thing to say we're not going to use that. But they say other things, bro, sis. A lot of them say bruh or bro, Brody. They say things like that. Yeah. So I tend to pull from, I think, even subconsciously from my personal life, especially when I write male characters. I will tell you this, it's deliberate that when I'm around Black men, I listen to how they talk to each other. Right. And so I carry that into the dialogue with my characters.
Do you think that even not even using the N-word, there's still a lot of pressure on Black writers, especially Black female writers, to write in a way that if you don't use AAVE, you're not Black enough. If you do use too much AAVE, you're ghetto. How do you find a happy medium between the two?
Yeah. You know what's interesting, Storm? I never realized that was an issue until I got on Booktalk. I'm not gonna front. I've always been an indie type person and did indie type shit, whether it's film, whether it's writing, whatever. And so, I don't think that, I think that you should write, as a writer, you write what you experience, you write what you pull from, you write what you know, you do some research, but it's not, man, I may get blowback from this, but it's like, as a writer, you can't please everybody, right? And so your audience will find you. And so what I'm learning about TikTok, Booktalk, is you got to drown out the noise. Because you got on one side, I love Black everything.
Facts.
I don't care what genre it is. If you're a Black author and you're writing Black romance or you're writing interracial, I don't care what it is. You're a Black author, I'm going to support you. And so, because we're not a monolith, it's like, don't tell me I don't write Black enough, or tell me, who are you to tell me, and who, made this collective decision, because I wasn't a part of that decision. Whoever decided, urban's not good, or urban, this isn't urban, or I didn't decide that. Who decided that?
Right.
That's why I say it might get me in trouble, because there's this that I've learned that I wasn't a part of until I got onto Booktalk. I've been in like the indie space for a very long time, the indie film space, the indie music space. The audience loves indie. They know you're doing it yourself. And so Booktalk has taught me very quickly that they don't care about none of that shit. Their opinion is more important. And you just do what we say. And it's like, no, I'm an entrepreneur, actually. And this is an app for entrepreneurs.
Exactly.
And so you don't have to consume my ish if you don't want to. So from a writing perspective and a creative perspective, that's probably my strongest stance that I stand really firm in, that don't box me in, don't tell me what to write, don't tell me how to write it, don't tell me what I can and cannot do in a creative fictional space. This is fiction, y'all. So I'm like, this is fiction. So that's why I'm like, it might be too deep. People might not like it, but I don't care, because my creativity is my creativity.
Rowdy, I need you to stop saying that. This is a very safe space, and anybody who got an opinion, I allow them to say it, because there's always one person out of 10 that agrees with you. And they needed to hear that reassurance, because they feel like they're the outliner. So I feel like when you authors come on here, y'all, this is a safe space to say what you feel. Unless you have legitimately disrespected somebody, I'll cut it off. But when you are literally, because we're learning from you, because the process in which you authors, especially indie authors, that's why I love y'all so much. The process in which you guys write your books, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? We have our own opinions as readers, but we don't understand what y'all go through when y'all write these books. So when I ask these questions, I'm literally like asking questions that I would ask. I'm a reader, so I'm like, I want to know. Maybe I'm going too deep for some people, but I needed to know. I want to know. So regardless of how y'all feel, love y'all, but I want to know. So, but let me ask you this: as a woman writing women and writing from a male perspective, how hard is that? Because males are complicated. They are complex. And so writing from a male perspective, is it like writing from a female perspective of a male, or just writing from a male perspective? How do you do that?
It depends on the character for me, because it depends on the type of character. So I'll give you an example, like a character like Vince, who's for me a forehead kiss because he's so sweet and sensuous. I write more from a feminine. I lead more from a feminine, masculine place, if that makes sense. But then when I have like a really wild, loud, Gage type character, I'm strictly drawing on my masculinity, because as humans we have both feminine and masculine energy. So I tap into my masculine energy.
I wish the rest of the world would realize that.
Right? Because sometimes I'm heavy in my masculine energy.
I get tired of people calling me a stud. Like, bruh, I just am embracing my masculine and my feminine. So
exactly. But that's really what it is. And then obviously I draw, depending on the type of character too, I will draw on conversations from guys, my male friends and things like that. But it's not even so much that it's hard for me. It's just making sure I understand the character as they're talking to me, so I can help flesh him out. Yeah.
You led up to, I don't know if you realized it, but you led up to this Why Choose with your books. Okay. You led up to it step by step. I mean, y'all be looking at Rowdy like, oh, she's so sweet. She's so nice. But you read the book, you read the books. You read the books, because she was nasty. She nasty. She nasty as hell. And then it'd be a subtle nasty. And that's the worst ones. They be freaky as fuck. So how is it that you went from The Dare and The Assignment and Thorns and Roses and all these books that led up to Vanessa's Choice? How that all came about?
Because I love to read Why Choose. That's why. And I love to read nasty, dirty books. No, but that's really because I love why choose romance. I love dark romance. I mean, dark, dark, dark romance. I love to read it. And I think, well, I know personally for me, I've always wanted to step into that realm and write a story. And I have ideas and all of that. But candidly, you know, I've always been apprehensive and I've been tiptoeing my way into it because I worry a lot about, because I write Black characters, I write Black female characters. And, you know, we carry trauma in our DNA regardless. So for me, it's very prevalent. I'm very mindful of the fact that we do carry that trauma in DNA. And I'm like, well, I can read all of this stuff happening to a non-Black character. What is the problem? It's fiction. But I'm having to push through that barrier because I know people want to read these stories and we know it's fiction. So I struggle with that a lot. And so me gradually working my way up to being able to write a Black female character in these hardcore dark situations, this is my way of doing it because, yeah, there was nothing dark about my first couple. Thorns and Gloves was my first step into it because there was a kidnapping, right? And there was a little bit of violence. And then, honestly, with Vanessa's choice, I did not have a choice but to write her story this way because this is the way she wanted it told. And I wasn't even writing this story. I was working on something else. And her character was nagging me. And she wanted her story told. And I was like, okay. And that's how we got to it. And she wanted it now. She didn't want me to keep tiptoeing. So that's how it led here, but it's really for because of my love of it. Like, and I've just been too chicken to write it, honestly.
I agree with that. Fiction, even though it's fiction, it's realism in fiction. I always say that. And as Black women, yes, we do have so much trauma upon us from our ancestors up until right now, the present. And as someone like me, I'm a dom and I'm in the BDSM world, but I can't, there's a difference between Black BDSM and white BDSM. And people might say, why are you segregating it? Because there are certain things in what white people do in BDSM, you can't come over to Black people because I'm not doing slave play. I'm saying, I would never in all my life that's ass whooping central. You know what I'm saying? So there, I get it. I get it. And that's why you got to be careful when it gets dark, especially when it comes to Black women and even Black men. People tend to leave Black men out of it, but they have trauma too.
Yep.
Because bucking was a thing back in slavery.
I know. Yeah.
So you have to be cautious because it's generational trauma. Even though we're trying to break the cycle, it's still generational trauma. So let me ask you about the males. How do you keep them from trauma? So let me ask you about the males. How do you keep them from trauma? You got echo. Let me ask you about the males. Muted. Okay, now come back.
Okay, now?
Okay, now come back.
Is it? Hold on. Okay, now?
Okay, now come back.
Is it? Hold on. Okay, now? Okay, now come back. Hold on.
You might have to go out and come back up. Don't y'all hate when they do that echo shit? It's so annoying. Conversation was getting good. Yeah, they do it off. I hate it. It was getting good. The conversation was getting really good. So annoying. Yes. Okay, let's try it again.
Is it better?
Yes.
Oh, thank God. I don't know what happened. I don't know.
When you like get a call or a text message, sometimes they'll like cause an echo.
I should have put my stuff on Do Not Disturb.
That's all it is. And sometimes they just do it out of spite. I don't know. But my question was, how do you do it from the male perspective? Because like I was saying, the trauma in which women go through in dark romance, how do you do it for Black men? Because like I said, bucking was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
and demasculating men. So, or emasculating men. So, how do you make sure your characters stay above water when it comes to that? If it's like dealing with men and those type of situations.
Yeah, for me, it's all about the mental,
Hmm.
and making sure. I think when I go about it, because I'm working on one, and what I notice as I'm writing it, and so it's not as dark as I'm going to get, but it's me, progressing to my dark space in writing. but but the one I'm writing right now, what I notice with the male character, and this might be the femininity in me making him do this, but he doesn't
Hmm.
mind it, because if I clash with what my character wants to do, I can't write. Like nothing happens. But what I notice, so like for example, there's a particular scene that's really rough for the female character. She has to be in a space with a man who harmed her drastically. And he doesn't know it's her. I don't want to give everything away, but he doesn't know it's her. And she's so affected by it that after the interaction, she runs and hides in the bathroom. Now, her man, he's watching her because on camera, he's always watching. But when she comes home, he gives her what she needs, the way that she needs it. Let's just say that. And I think that as long as I can make sure that the male character takes care of her in the way that she needs, it'll be fine.
Mm.
That's what I'm hoping, because I have two that I'm working on, but there's one that I'm really apprehensive about, because literally, Storm, I got this black woman shackled in the basement by this black man, and I thought, this is what I'm grappling with, but it's not. Here's the thing: there's a reason, and it's and he's not like, yeah. And I thought, how can I have this scene in here? But I need to have the scene. I need to have it, but how can I have it? And then with him, it's the same thing. Even though he's the one perpetrating it, the things that he does to care for her can soften it a little bit. But that's what, in my mind, I'm like, shackled to, I don't know, she's shackled to the floor, like the whole thing. That's what I always struggle with when I think about writing dark with a black female character or a black male lead doing it to her.
I just feel like I hate dark romance sometimes. But I just feel like if I do read dark romance, I expect unhingedness.
Yes.
I expect there's going to be scenes that it's literally going to have me cussing out the book type deal. So even though it's not my thing, I do understand the dynamic of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's not given to the point that I'm cussing it out, now I've been read some dark romances that made me gag, and I was just like, I'm never reading this author again. I don't care if she reckon a paranormal romance. I'm still not fucking reading her. But the thing about it is, I do understand there's a level of dark romance that everyone has. You know what I'm saying? People may have like me, like the small, not too much crazy, but not too crazy. And then there's you and Shannon that like, hell, y'all up here. I ain't with y'all, but y'all up here. You know what I'm saying? But there's level to dark romances, and I don't think people understand that. Do you agree that there are different levels to dark romances for every reader?
I do agree with that, because even in dark romance, there's things that I don't like. Like I don't like blood play. I'm not a blood play girl.
And see, I like blood.
And see, but I like knife play.
I love that too.
But I don't like the blood play. And I didn't know, because I didn't think I had any limits, to be honest. I found my limit with the book that I read that I knew had knife play, but I didn't realize it had blood play. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough to make me be like, yeah, that's not for me. So I absolutely agree that there are levels to this dark romance thing.
Do you think it's the responsibility of the author to put in the trigger warnings when it comes to dark romance, or even white shoes, or white shoes, dark romance? Do we think it's the responsibility of the author to put trigger warnings in, or is it the responsibility of the reader to read the synopsis and find out what could possibly be a trigger warning, or is it both?
I would say both. I think given the times that we're in and how society has evolved, I think it would behoove an author to put triggers as a courtesy. Do I think an author has to? We don't have to do anything. And some authors refuse to do it, and that is their prerogative, in which case, read the synopsis. If you know there's an author you like that doesn't list the triggers, you can probably tell from the synopsis what it's going to be, or they normally will put it on their website or whatever. I think that you kind of have to move with society, and this is where society is right now, because growing up, like I said, me reading my mom's, there was no trigger warnings. There was nothing.
Zane definitely didn't have no trigger warnings.
Zero. And we were all fine with it, but that's not the place that society is today. So I started putting trigger warnings in my books just because, as a courtesy, I don't mind it. It doesn't hurt me in any way. So I go ahead and do it. But I do think that takes me back to the other conversation. I didn't even candidly realize that was a thing until Booktalk. I've been on Instagram and like the Instagram book world, and nobody was talking about that. And then I came over here, and it was such a big thing that I thought, well, I better, if it's impacting people negatively, their mental health, I'll do it. I'm all for good mental health, but it's being dictated by the readers, and the readers are consuming our ish. So if sometimes you got to compromise for your audience, especially on something like a trigger warning, I think that's okay. I'm not talking about compromise your writing style and your story and your creativity, but you're dealing with, at the end of the day, they're consumers. You are a business. And if your readers are telling you, I like your stuff, but give me some trigger warnings, I think that's okay. Respectfully.
I was about to say,
respectfully.
Because some of y'all be asking for a whole lot of shit, but y'all are disrespectful in their reviews, and y'all disrespectful in their DMs and with y'all videos. So it's one thing to kiki ha, and then it's another way to just be a bully.
Yeah.
Y'all, you can understand, and I say this as a reader, you do know we have the power to either turn somebody away from writing, which you take away from their creativity, or you turn someone's writing style to shit because they're trying to appease you.
Yep.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody impact your creativity.
Don't. Because a real reader, if they don't like it, they won't read it. Right. You'll never hear a review from them about it. You'll never see them sometimes they don't even write 1-star, 2-star reviews on your shit. But some of y'all are very, I don't know if he was bullied as a child, so you're taking it out on everybody else. But needless to say, respect others and you will get respect. That's all.
That's all you got to do. I'm a firm believer in that. And I am an indie at heart, an indie creator, like at heart, across the board. I'm telling you, from books to film, to music, to whatever.
Right.
The freedom that indie authors have, like, I mean, maybe readers do know this, but they won't get the wild, outlandish, heart palpitating, crazy, angry, wild stuff from a lot of trad pub, because they are so strict on how they want you to formulate your book. If you guys, the guidelines that they have, and the fact that, especially if you're a Black author, sometimes it's like they don't understand AAVE. I'm not changing my like, this is how the character talks, like, because they don't understand how Black people move through the world and how we talk. But as an indie author, we have the freedom to write that experience the way we want to. And so sometimes y'all gotta let us make it and go a little easy.
But you know what? That also goes into indie authors that write books and indie comic book people. They're the same. It's the same way. The only person I ever seen step outside the line was Stan Lee. That was it. Everybody else had to toe the line like real finely. Even Black comic book writers, indie comic book writers, they write. They write. And the same with authors that are writing books. They write. But you want them, I want them to go traditional because I feel like they'll have more money into it. Do you understand there are some indie authors out here making 6 figures and don't have to work ever?
Yep.
except for writing books, and we put those stereotypes on them. How do you feel about that, Rowdy, as an author? And your creativity shows, whether you're talking about film, whether you're talking about books, even business, your creativity just flows out. So how do you feel about that?
Gosh, I have strong feelings about it because I was talking to my business partner about this because she's coming into this book talk world with me as I ramp up my author work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, I was like, I need to prepare you because we are indie to the bone. Like it's in our veins. We cut for indie everything. And I told her, in this realm of book talk with indie authors and indie everything, you're not going to get the same experience. You're going to see something different here. They don't embrace us like they embrace us in indie film. And I'm talking audiences. The people embrace you when you're an independent filmmaker. They love to see you do it.
Mm-hmm.
They love to see us stick it to the big production companies. And so I said, over here, they treat us like, we have a saying down here, they treat us like street booty. And it's terrible. Not everybody, because there's so much love for indie, but it's more prevalent that you can't do one thing wrong as an indie author. That's it. And there's this negative connotation around indie authors. And it's unbelievable to me. And I think it's ludicrous. And here's why. And this just might be, I believe, with the Aquarius in me. Because Aquarius in me can't wrap her head around why we are on an app, TikTok, an app for entrepreneurs to build and grow their business. Mm-hmm. And everybody else can do it, but an indie author can't. An indie author gets slack for being on an app that promotes us to do the one thing that we're trying to do that y'all are telling us we're not good enough to do because we're not traditionally published. The Aquarius in me cannot wrap her head around that. And I struggle with that because I'm such an indie person. And I'm like, when did we stop appreciating people for trying to make it on their own? When did we stop appreciating that and dog people for that and tell them they're less than because they are trying to make it with their talent on their own and on their own terms? Book Talk is the only place that shames people for that.
But you know what, Rowdy?
It blows my mind. I'll never be right with that.
It is, how can I put this? Y'all know I'm kind of blunt with shit and I'm trying to do better. Okay.
Who's that? I'll take you there because I feel strongly about this. I'm indie to the bone and I support people who want to make it and build stuff on their own.
I'm finding it, y'all. I'm finding it. Okay. I mean, no disrespect. This is my politically correct self. I mean, no disrespect to anyone when I say this. We have shifted from the priority of supporting indie authors to more so the show of being an influencer. We have shifted the means of saying us as BIPOC people, and this does not go to white people because they stick together on Book Talk. On Black Book Talk, however, not saying that the Book Talk don't have mess, because they do. That should be funny. But on Black Book Talk, however, we have crab in a barrel syndrome. You want people to succeed on your terms. Mm-hmm. You want people to be with certain authors because they're popular in your group. Anyone who has an opinion of a book that is y'all seem as the Bible, y'all will dog walk them. Mm. Mentally, y'all try to break people down. And this is general. This does not go to particular people. This is general. Our authors and our readers deserve respect. Mm-hmm. in both ways. It deserves respect. It's like a swinging door. They deserve respect. Bullying is not tolerated, and it shouldn't be, but it's happening. It's happening oh so much, to the point that I have witnessed over my 2 years on Black Book Talk So many authors stopped writing because they were bullied. And I was sliding in the DM, hey, are you going to, complete your series? Nah, I just can't do it anymore. Yeah, y'all are doing that. And then there are authors that are just mean girls, just like these mean girl readers. And mean guys, because the men are not excluded. They literally will, if you don't give them the review that they want, they will hound you, disrespect you in your comments, and have their fan base come after you, which is insane. With that all being said, I feel like if we're going to support each other. Indie runs I don't care what traditionally published has, but whether it's indie film, indie books, indie music, they run those genres, those subgenres. They run that. Without them, the traditional wouldn't be shit. Yep. Without them, because a lot of music, film, they get those big companies get those ideas from them.
Yes.
They get them from them. They don't get them because oh my God, I had a moment. They get it from them. So what Rowdy is doing, in which we will talk tomorrow with her partner about film, because I have a plethora of questions for that, because Lord Jesus. But as an author, I feel like as she is an indie author, she's very creative. You have her, you have Mo, you have Kay McCoy, you have Dari McCoy. You have so many people. Mm-hmm. And yet we put them in boxes like, oh, they don't write enough smut. They don't, they're interracial. They're blah, blah, blah. I can't support them, but they're black.
Right. I'm like Issa Rae. I support everybody black, unless they causing harm. That's the only way I won't.
What harm is it when you write interracial? They're being loved, right?
Right.
They're being loved.
My worried stuff isn't going to be interracial, so I have that coming out too. So, yeah, I support everybody black. I'm rooting for everybody black, unless they being harmful. I'm telling you. So that's how I get down. And when I say black, I mean black. I root for POC too, but I root for my black people, and I have to keep that separate. Those who know me in real life know why. But we gotta support each other.
But on my non-politically correct, I couldn't help it, Rowdy. I just couldn't. On my non-politically
to be said though, Storm, that's a huge.
It's a problem.
We could do together than trying to tear each other down. Like, we could do so much together.
Black people are the biggest consumers that spend money in America. In America, just America, not the world. In America. Yes. Imagine if we put so much effort into our community as indie movies, indie books, indie music. Do you know we are so powerful, but yet we don't believe it ourselves, even though we say it.
Yep.
So I don't condone mean girls. Actually, I say, fuck y'all. What you gonna do? Whoop my ass? Probably not. I've
never been a mean girl, so.
Not so much. And as far as mean guys, I'm equal opportunity, E for everyone. So I honestly believe if we come together and start supporting, because even though I am a part of the Boozy Book Tour, there are events. There are podcasters. There are creatives on this app that are not hundreds and thousands, and they're not crying on this app to get followers.
I'm one of them.
But you
close.
But you should have a bigger following.
Well, I should do better. I know.
But it's not even just that. Yes, you should do better. But it's not even just that. It's the fact that we pick and choose, and then we stick by our face and don't look outside of the box.
Yeah. True story.
So how do you feel about when people they have this box that they're in and they see you and it's like, oh, you write the same, subgenre, right? And then they'll be like, but I can't read her because she's not X, Y, and Z because her writing style is, how do you feel about that comparison or people saying that?
Well, I don't really think about personally being compared to other writers, because one thing about me is I'm gonna be confident in my creativity. So that's never been an issue for me. I've never doubted my ability to be a good writer. And I've been fortunate enough to not have anybody say that to me. And if they did, I wasn't around. So I just think, again, what I write is not going to be for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But there's an audience for it. They'll find it, they'll read it, they'll love it. So again, my motto, like if you guys ever go to my website, at the top it says, don't box me in, I write what I want. So I'll tell you a little story really quick. But when we were coming up in the film industry as screenwriters, we were going to these events in LA, and they would always be like, what genre, what genre? Like we could only write in one genre. Like they were like, no, because it's better to stick to one genre. That way you're good at it. But no, I'm like, no, you don't have to be stuck in a genre. That bothered me. That was so many years ago. And that stuck with me so much that I made that motto. Don't box me and I write what I want. If I want to write romance, I'm going to write romance. And whatever subgenre in romance is that I feel like writing, I'm going to write it. If I want to switch over and write horror, I'm going to write it. So I don't like boxing anyone in because it's limiting people's creativity and talent, and it's fiction. And why would you want to limit someone's creativity, y'all? Imagine, even as a consumer, if you allow us creatives to let our freak flag fly, y'all will be like, y'all are nuts, because we will take it like to places that you don't even think about. But when you try and box us in, it limits us and it doesn't work. And like me, if I think about, I love horror, right? And how, when I'm ready to pull that into romance, well, I've got my romance experience and the horror, and I can marry the two and do it just fine. And I don't want to write like anybody else anyway. I want to write like me.
Right.
So that's how I look at it. And I think authors should not worry about how other authors are writing, because when they get off their game and they're trying to chase what's popular or chase what, the community is saying we should be writing, you're going to give yourself a headache. So
I've always been, I mean, when I first started off, I'm not going to lie to everybody. Yeah, I was reading some of the popular books because I had just got on here. And as time went on, I realized I don't like popularity. I like the ones that you've never heard of and like to bring them to the front. Like, hey, have you heard this author? And that makes me feel more accomplished, like I'm doing something to help somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. Because, look, mama need to be herself. You know what I'm saying? And I get it as a creative podcasting. As a creative, I don't like writing down questions because I feel like they're boring. And it makes people nervous when I really want to have a conversation. So I get it. And you have, if y'all don't know, I admire her so much. I admire her so. She would always get a text from me, a call from me, because I'm like, Rowdy. But I admire her so much because she's so creative. She's such a free spirit. And that's something I don't have, but I find joy in talking to her because she can explain it to me. Whereas somebody else tries to explain to me, I'm looking at them like, bitch. Whereas Rowdy tries to explain it to me, and it's just like, oh, I get it. I wish my professors was like this. But she is such a creative person that I can't help but try to absorb everything she tries to tell me. Because I feel like it makes me a better person. But with that being said, as a community, a Black community, I would never have found Rowdy if I wasn't sticking to my community and loving on my community. You know what I'm saying? The barter system. We always talk about the barter system. You know what I'm saying? And we forgot about that as a community, especially with Booktalk. Indie authors, and readers, there's a barter system.
Yep.
We get arcs. We do reviews for them, and they get something out of that. They're not doing it just for the hell of it. Shit, that shit costs money.
What I tell you, what's my line? There's no such thing as something for nothing. And that's not in a bad way. The universe, there's a give and take. Don't get me on my esoteric stuff. That's another facet of Rowdy but but the universe is give and take. And so that whole mantra of there's no such thing as something for nothing doesn't mean that it's like a tit for tat. It is, but it's not in a negative way. It's we're both trying to accomplish something. Right. I know more about this than you. You know more about that than me. Let's share knowledge and exchange so that we can both move forward and progress and reach our goals. That's what it is. Like, I believe in that heavily. And whatever you give out, you get back times 3. Like, the power of times 3 for me is an absolute thing. So to your point about being a community and being indie and helping each other, and it could be as simple as a piece of advice.
Yes.
Somebody can take that and find out that it was so useful. And it doesn't cost anything to help somebody. Well, trust me, y'all, there's plenty to go around. You're going to get it back in some way. So that's how I look at it.
You're an amazing author. I've been reading your books for a minute now, and I'm not saying this because I'm friends with her, because even before we were cool like that, I read her book. As a matter of fact, I think it was The Assignment.
The Assignment, yeah.
And I fell in love with that shit. I like her writing style. There are some authors that enemies to lovers shit or marriage to convenience shit, they can't write that. It comes off as mean. Like, even when you throw romance in there, it come off as mean. And so I always take what I read to heart. I know I'm a fast feed reader, but I do take it to heart because I'm absorbing everything you're saying. Whether it's fantasy, like I said, every bit has a little bit of reality in it. And I like how you do that, because those things that you write, I can see happening in real life. Whether if you're the upper echelon rich person or a motherfucker in the hood, I can see it happening in my mind.
Storm, no, you don't. When readers tell me that makes me happy, because that's the kind of author I am. And so it harkens back to me being in the film industry, because I direct. So I'm a director and I see things visually. So when I'm writing, I'm an immersive reader. The books I like to read are the ones that throw me in the story, and I feel like my heart's palpitating with the characters. If smexy time's going on, I might be clutching my pearls. That's what I like to read. It's so immersive, and so that's what I like to write. And I think probably my screenwriting and my sort of cinematography background helps and lends itself to that. But there is no greater compliment for someone like me than a reader to tell me that they could see my story. Like, I was like, then I did my job. That's all I wanted.
and maybe that's not for everyone, but with me, if I could see it like a movie in my head, then you done your job for me.
Those are the readers. So you're my target audience. I'm going to say that, because that's how I like to write. And if I try to write any other way, I think it'll come off stiff and weird, and people will be like, I don't know about this. Like, what is this?
And I just noticed by reading so much indie authors and then trying to read traditionally published authors, that it's hard for me to read them, because it is stiff. It is very, I want to say this almost, but I can't say it, so I'm a toe the line, but it just comes off very stiff, and it makes a lot of the books miss something.
It does.
Whereas indie authors, when I read indie authors, I get it. I get it immediately, because y'all say what y'all say and y'all mean it. You know what I'm saying? Compared to, I like some traditional, because I read J.R. Ward hardcore.
Me too.
I read J.R. Ward, Lorelei, the Anita Blake vampire series. I read all that. But at the same time, after reading indie authors, I realized they really are missing something. And these are some of my favorite books.
They are. J.R. Ward, though, that's my love. She takes it there,
Yeah.
Gina Showalter is another one that I love. They write really vividly.
She friended me?
Obsessed with her.
She friended me?
You told me. I'm obsessed. I am obsessed. I love her writing. But that's because I feel like they write more immersive, and I can put myself in the scenes. I can feel what the characters are feeling. So that's how I like to write, for sure.
But it's a double standard even in the indie sphere. It's a double standard for female writers compared to male writers. I've seen, and I love this book, Superhit by David Weaver. You know, I love it. But if a female writer was to write something like that, there would be a double standard.
Probably.
There'll be especially a black female writer. Oh, she's doing too much. That's too far. That's
the rub right there. Like, who says what's too far? So that's part of my journey as an author in Booktalk, remembering that I can't let everybody else dictate. I struggle with that. Every day I go back and forth with that, for real. Like, what are they going to think if I do this? And then it's like, who cares, girl? Who cares? So, yeah, I don't.
How do you fight against that, though, in your head? Like, how do you fight against trying to make sure that you don't want to offend anybody, but yet you're just like, why am I letting these people who dictate how I write to stifle my creativity? How do you combat that mentally?
So, someone like me, I'm going to lean on my meditation and I do Zen meditation. Also, if like I have to get heavy in my Zen bag, meaning I have to go back to what I learned at the meditation center. Here in Houston, there's a place, I'm plugging whatever, the Jung Tai Zen Center of Houston is where I learned meditation. But one thing my Shifu taught that I have to go back to is no attachments. Because like an attachment thing, if I care, me caring what people think, I'm attached to that. So if I'm living fully in my no attachments, Zen sort of lifestyle, I have total mind mastery. It's all about mind mastery, moving with wisdom, talking with wisdom. So I have to lean heavily in that bag to say, why do you care, Tracy? Like, what, or Rowdy, my real name's Tracy. But like, why do you care what people think? Oh, and then I have to deconstruct that. Like, it gets deep. Oh, it's my ego. My ego cares. So then my chief will be like, so what do you need to do? You've got to tamper down your ego, because that's ego. So when you take the ego out of it, I really don't care what people think. Like, I do not care. But it's hard because we are ego. And so learning
ego driven.
Yes, learning to master the mind and speak with wisdom, it's how I have to do it. And I just fall back on that heavy, to try and get my mind right. Anytime I'm out of balance, I know it right away. And I'm like, I got to get back on my Zen stuff. I got to go back to the Zen center.
Now I'm starting to really think this was divine intervention. Me and you met, because those are the same principles within Tai Chi and Taekwondo, and which I do. So therefore, I just, even though I'm more rough around it, okay, maybe a lot rough around the edges,
a little bit.
I think, with our friendship, it balances out, you know what I'm saying? And now I get it. And which is another thing. As I was listening to you, I was thinking about Vanessa's choice, all right? Mm-hmm. And you were talking about stereotypes of society and turning around with two men. The societal thing is polygamy. Oh my God, you're going to hell, type thing, compared to letting people love who they love and live how they live. Right. If it's not bothering you, you know what I'm saying? How do you take that, put that in a book, and give this woman this boss career? Two men who have boss careers, and yet the emotional aspect, keep it so that it's more realistic than fictional.
Yeah, that part was important to me because, like you said earlier, me tiptoeing into these different subgenres of romance and why choose. I get a little in my head, a little more philosophical and deep about these things. And I look at it like, in telling her story, Vanessa wasn't trying to tell me, I didn't get that she was trying to tell me some salacious, dirty, hardcore why choose that I like to read. Although there's a lot of schmexy time going on in this book because, double the men, double the fun. But the focus for her, she as a human, I think if you're in a situation where you're dating, because she was casually dating, if you read Thorns and Gloves, that's where you met Vanessa. She's casually dating, she's having a good time. Well, oops, she falls for these two men because as she dates them, she starts to feel like, dang, they are both giving her exactly what she needs, but in a different way. And in real life, if something like that happened to you in real life, you're not going to dive headfirst into it. You're going to be like, oh my God, what do I do?
Right.
So that's what she went through in this book. To me, she went through kind of what probably I would go through and be like, okay, I want them both. What do I do? I can't do this. What is the world going to say? And oh my God. And they know how I am, but they don't really know how serious I am with the other. So what do I do? So for her, it was like a mental struggle to be like, can I do this? And I don't want to lose one or the other. But then for the guys, what was important for me in this story for the men was to not try and tell her what to do, try and force her to do anything, because a lot of, well, let me just say this, some real life poly relationships that I've observed with two men and one woman, it was very domineering and very like controlling. And I'm like, that's not the relationship that these three have. And I bet you there's plenty of relationships we don't get to see, because the good ones, you never put a good relationship online. Let me just tell you, y'all ain't really ever going to see my partners because that's private and I don't need to prove to anybody anything. So
you wouldn't even know who my partners is.
Right? Right. But with the men, it was important for them to love her and meet her and support her where she was at, because they were such strong characters too. They wasn't messed up about each other, but it was interesting when they saw her with the other guy. That's when their feelings sort of bubbled up, because out of sight, out of mind. Because I think in real life, men don't care, like out of sight, out of mind. You would be right now. I don't know what, and especially if you're not in a committed relationship, because they hadn't DTR, oh my God, defined the relationship. And so it was important for me to show the men being adults, being men, and holding that kind of space for her to make a decision and not force her. But then I like how they came in the clutch and gave her the space to say, to know it's okay. And that I'm trying not to give the ending away, but that they were okay with her decision. Like,
but you also made it so that, and I like how you did it from a male perspective, where her feelings were the top priority. Their feelings was a priority, but her feelings were a top priority, because it was like, without her, there's no us.
Right.
I hope I ain't giving away nothing, but
I don't think so. And I think they really, once they realized they were really in love with this woman, like for who she was, because when you think about why they fell in love with her, they didn't want to change that. And it's like, when I think too about like my book boyfriends and these fictional characters, of course he's going to be a little bit unrealistic, a little bit, because, in the society that we live in today, it's rare to find a man that'll just 100% put your feelings, in front of you. But these two men, because they loved her for who they are and they didn't want to change her, and they were so secure in their own, they were not messed up about each other really like that. So there's that level of security and maturity that they had to have. But
that right there.
Yes. So it's important to show that and make it realistic. The reactions, like when she stepped off that plane in Vegas, I felt that, because I was like, oh, she would one and the other. And I was like, girl, what you gonna do? So
I sure was saying that.
Like, with the way that she did, I was like, so you just gonna walk? You not okay? I wanted to, because I was in my mind as an author, I'm like, I know what I wanted her to do, but she didn't want to do that, so I let her do what she wanted to do, and she didn't know what to do in the moment. And I thought, well, that's kind of real too, because I could see that reaction to where you're like, oh crap, let me just avoid. And like, that was her initial response in that moment. I thought that was really real.
Yeah. I mean, that was a moment of, in real life, I think a motherfucker would be shaking in their boots like, oh shit, I'm here with, and he's right, and we about to go in the room and, oh shit.
The fact that he was their security, I was like, what is happening? Because I don't outline storms, so I'm writing and I'm like, what is happening? Like, what? Like, is this? Because I know me, I would have bailed on that situation.
Yeah.
I would not been able to handle it. But I was like, what is going on? But I let the characters do what they did, and I liked how it turned out.
And that's what I'm saying. That was real and raw. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been in a poly relationship, unfortunately. But I haven't been in a poly relationship, so I can't say, but even being in a relationship with just one person, and because I can't speak for everybody. Mm-hmm. But being in a relationship with one person and you see that one person that you know that you really, really want but can't have, and they want you but know they can't have you because you're with someone else, and you walk past them holding hands and that person kissing on you and you looking like, oh my God, you feel guilty. And it's not even a thing.
Right.
So that's realistic.
Yes. And she was shaking, and I'm telling you, that was fun to write, though. I have to say, it was fun to write, putting them in these situations.
I love your mind. It's wild. You know what I'm saying? It's wild, and yet you're so down to earth with it. You know what I'm saying? Even with the assignment, it was like, girl, go ahead and fuck that man.
I know.
Just go ahead and fuck that man, because y'all tension. Go ahead and fuck. He too fine not to fuck. Just go ahead and fuck that man.
Yeah.
How do you write an enemies to lover that, I don't know, your tension is different from other people's tension. Your tension is more like, out the gate, I'm gonna fuck this nigga.
Yeah, because you know what I believe? I really, really believe in real life that women, we know right away if we want to sleep with somebody. Oh. Now, whether we act on it or not is another thing. And I feel like that's true to life. And so these female characters, I feel like when I write them, they do know. They know right away that it's going down. Like, so that I kind of pull that from real life. Okay.
But that was some real shit. Because if ever that was a nigga I wanted to fuck, you best believe I wanted to fuck them for real. For real.
Yeah.
It may be a fantasy, but I literally want to fuck them. Same with a female. If I literally was like, damn, I'll knock the Sonic coins out that ass. But you know what I'm saying? Either or. I'm like, but in my head, I literally already set that goal. Like, I'm going to fuck this person.
Yeah, like we know right away.
So let me ask you this. You have so much going on, Rowdy. You are the busiest woman I have ever met in my fucking life.
No, I'm like number 2. You're the busiest woman that I know. You be busy, sir.
Well, yeah. But you're one of the busiest authors that I know. Mo is second. But you're one of the busiest authors that I know, and you have so much on your plate. How do you mentally, like, besides meditation, how do you mentally, like, keep up with yourself?
So I do, everything's mind body. So besides meditating, Pilates, on the reformer, because that's, you get in the zone. Also, sweets. I love sweets. Let's just say that. I love mental stimulation. And herbal remedies and things like that.
I concur.
Yeah, keep me grounded, keep me even. Yeah, and I love reading. I read a lot. Mm-hmm. I read a lot, and I am always in my K-drama bag or my Chinese historical dramas. I am obsessed. So, like, if I need a break, I will binge watch.
You watch K-dramas?
I watch K-dramas. I love historicals too. So, yeah. And
have you watched Goblin?
I haven't watched Goblin. I have a whole bunch on my list.
Okay, continue. I just want to know.
I just finished watching. That's because I'll be watching. I just finished watching a Chinese historical drama. I guess you could call it a C drama, but it was 82 episodes. That's why it takes me so. They be 8. Yes, that. So I have to finish that before I can move.
Girl, 82.
You know they be long.
Okay.
Series.
Yeah, because True Beauty was like forever.
Yeah, 82 episodes. So I just finished it. And by the way, I will rewatch them. I will watch them twice.
Now, Rowdy, you doing too much.
No, because the first time I'm watching the subtitles because I like to hear them speak in their native tongue. And I start to learn words. And then the second time I watch it and I remember kind of the dialogue, honestly, and I can pick up on some of the words. So I'm really watching it cinematically.
You know, I take it back because I forgot. You are a director.
Yes.
So you're in there. You're in there. So let me ask you this. You as a Black woman, how do you think, with you being a director in the film industry, indie film industry, an author in the corporate world, how do you feel your impact is going to shake up what society already deems us as uneducated and ghetto?
Yeah, you know what's great about that's a great question too, because the indie space is the perfect space to do it. And there is a platform that I have a disdain for, where people are using it, and we could use it in a way to promote every aspect of Black life. But that's not what's happening. We're only showing one side of it on this platform, which drives me mad. And not only are we showing one side of Black life and culture that exists, because there's no doubt that it exists and it is a part of our culture and society, but that's not all we are.
Yeah.
So I think it behooves us creators, us indie filmmakers, to show all sides. But the onus is also on the consumers, because if we're putting out stuff, and this goes across the lines of authors, like writing, film, whatever, if we're putting out stuff that they don't want to consume, then do we keep putting it out, or do we acquiesce and put out the one thing that people seem to want to talk about, the Tyler Perry type? I did not mean to name drop, because I'm not a fan. There's more, like, people, like, we support that, which is crazy, but we won't go support something that what's his name, Hill Harper's doing, like that shows a cohesive Black family that may have some shenanigans. Like, we run the gamut, but as a consumer, we have to be able to want to digest all of that.
Because Black trauma sells. Right.
And we wonder why in Hollywood, we complain all the time. They only show one type of aspect of Black culture because that's what y'all support. So don't support it, and they'll change up, because the Black dollar is powerful. It is probably one of the most powerful in the United States. We control the culture. And we can't sit and complain about it if you have someone putting out something that shows a different aspect of Black life, but we don't support it.
Facts.
We can't make it then, because nobody's going to fund it.
Because we're going to learn from Diddy. Not all money is good money.
Not all money's good money.
Because
let me tell you how, when that started with his Revolt TV, his partner was like, okay, we have a connect that works there. Maybe because he was looking for talent, and my spirit, this is before any of this, well before, when he started Revolt TV, was like, I told her, and if I'm lying, I'm dying. I was like, no. Diddy, there is something about that man that my spirit is like, no. And also, even, this is why I'm 10 toes down for indie too. Her and I could have been out in Hollywood doing our big one and get caught up in all of this. It is not for the faint of heart. When people say that, they mean that. And I don't have the heart to sell myself out in any kind of way. So I'm going to stay indie 10 toes down. And I'm glad I did, because especially in the film world, even now, big actors and everybody, they go on indie. Everybody's indie. Kerry Washington started her production company. It's considered an independent production company. She's considered indie, but because she's Kerry Washington, it's okay. That's why I'm like, y'all, as consumers who digest this stuff as Black people, we own the culture. If you want to see more of it, support more of that. Like, and stop hating on other Black people for what they like. If you like urban, because I love a good urban anything, but I also love a good buttoned up conservative. If it's good, my taste runs the gambit, and I don't like come down on people for what they like, and I don't judge, and I don't make a big deal because there's room for everybody. Should it matter? Like,
I've said it often, and I don't know if you know. I've had bigger. How can I put this? I've had bigger people with companies and money offer for my podcast, this here Black Girl Booktalk, to do some things on their dime if I switch how I talk, don't drink but drink tea, change my makeup style so it's very vibrant and colorful and I come off very relatable to people, and I've turned it down.
good, because you relate to who you're supposed to relate to.
And I've even turned down talk shows that I should have been on this year, but I turned it down because of what they told me that I had to do.
Yeah, it's crazy out here. Like, I mean, we were told at an event, like, you guys should go out to Hollywood. You'll be great with your looks, with your talent. And that's the other thing, Storm. The one thing, I think, too, with me, why I like being behind the scenes, the one thing that will always turn me away is someone comes talking about looks. And that's huge in the film industry, in the entertainment industry. If they think you're cute, it's package first, talent second. And it's like, oh, you have package and talent. And it's like, whoa. No, it's talent first. I'm always like a talent first. So I don't know. I just think the consumer has a lot to do with what gets put out. And if you really are rooting for everybody Black, go consume they shit, y'all.
Exactly. And I say this, you said it, Black people are not a monolith. We don't all look the same. Our roots may go back as far as Africa and the Caribbean, but we are not the same.
We're not.
We're not the same.
We should be able to tell all of our stories that run the gambit. Like, and there shouldn't be a problem with it. And within our community, there shouldn't be a problem. And Booktalk especially has a problem. And I'm always like scratching my head about how do we close the gap? I don't want to bridge it. I want to close it. Because it shouldn't be like this. We should be, especially in the climate that we're in this country today, we should be supporting each other. Like, I don't have to I don't like fade to Black romances. I don't like it. But if there's a Black author who writes fade to Black and it comes across my timeline and I watch it, I'm gonna like that post and I'll probably repost it because I'm gonna support that Black author. I'm not her audience, but somebody is. Stuff like that, it's just as simple as that. And if you don't like urban fiction, okay, don't read it. If you know you don't like it, don't pick up that book.
Right.
Just to get clicks. Like, you are hurting an independent author who is an entrepreneur on an app for entrepreneurs who the only thing she did or he did was write an urban fiction, but you don't like urban fiction and you dog that. Like, no, like, how does make it make sense? So again, consumers, because I consume a lot of shit too, we have to be careful about hurting people's livelihood because we don't like it, especially in the author world, because writing is subjective to the consumer. And I'm not going to read Fade to Black because I know I'm not going to like it, but I don't want to hurt that author because that's what the author likes. Like, that's the disconnect that I'm not sure people are missing. Either they know it and they don't care, or they genuinely are missing it and maybe they just need to be, maybe it needs to be explained.
But I also think that us as readers, I'm going to start with the readers first. Us as readers, we say we want a community. We say, oh, I just want like-minded people that I can talk to about books. Y'all literally have book clubs, and I'm not even talking about Bootsy Book Baddies before anybody say anything. I'm talking about there are literally book clubs out here. You have Three Sisters Book Club. You have literally Black. It's in the title. Literally Black Book Club. You know, you have these book clubs that are legitimately supporting Black authors. And y'all will join book clubs that only read books that are not supporting Black authors. Y'all have apps like Spoiler Talk that just came out that supports Black indie authors and put them on their site with traditionally published authors as featured books. And y'all will go to Fable. Like, it's not making sense. And then there's authors that they say they want these particular readers or the particular authors they want to immerse themselves in to be friends with, but you want the popular authors that the readers like. Y'all want the popular authors that want traditionally published. Nothing wrong with getting a traditionally published deal.
Right.
Nothing. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is y'all follow these authors and y'all forget where you came from. You forget the readers that got you there, because it wasn't you that just your talent. It was the readers too. And you forget about them, and then you go for the readers that have 100,000, 1 million followers, and you expect them to, I don't know, promote your book, but it's not reaching the target audience that you were used to, and you're wondering why your books don't sell. That's why. And then you wondering why so many white people are in your comments about your book and don't understand it. That's why. You know, it's a give and take. Like, the readers have a responsibility and the authors have a responsibility. And in the indie world, we all should come together so that we all can succeed, so we all can rise. Because when one reaches the top, they can pull back and take the next person.
Yes, that's the part right there too. Don't pull the ladder up behind you. Just because you made it to the top, you're gonna pull the ladder up, so can't nobody else make it. And it's not a flex to brag about not helping people, or if someone, like, I get there's a limit, right? And there's a line and there's a way to reach out and ask for help. And obviously you want to do it in the right way. And you want to make sure, again, there's no such thing as something for nothing. There's a give and take. You're not just taking. But, like, I don't know, the best thing you can do is help the next person up, because once you help them up, by the way, they finna lift you to get to the next rung. And then that person up there should grab your hand, and then you grab their hand. Like, if we just kept that chain going instead of trying to pit each other against each other, like, man, we could take this whole thing over. I mean,
there should not be a indie author that's struggling.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna say this one more time, and those who get offended, it's because your spirit ain't right. I'm saying this because it's Hoodoo Heritage Month, and I am a hoodoo practitioner, and I'm saying this with all my heart from my ancestors. There should not be a Black indie author that is struggling. Because some of us read way out the box, and there's authors for us. Mm-hmm. You don't hear as much about the horror authors because y'all too busy reading the traditionally published ones. You don't hear too much about the paranormal authors, and I'm not talking about paranormal romance, I'm talking about paranormal in general, because you're too busy reading the traditionally published. You don't hear about contemporary romance besides your faves, because they're about to be traditionally published, or are. You don't hear about your urban fiction authors because you deemed them too ghetto, and because somebody else said it that has your ear. We should not have our authors struggling. I'm not saying the economy is good, because Lord knows bills be billing, shit be happening. But at the same time, how are we to build up our literary community? Because some of these festivals don't even acknowledge indie authors. They don't acknowledge them. They acknowledge traditionally published Black authors. They say a win is a win, pretty much. How are we as a community say we support Black authors? And I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying, because as long as I've been doing this, listening to authors, listening to people like you, Rowdy, there should be a support system that is really honest and truly a support system. It's a at this moment system.
Yeah.
And I say this not out of disrespect. I'm not saying this because I'm begging you to do something. I'm not saying this because, I'm just saying something because I want clicks and likes. No. I'm saying this because I truly believe in indie authors, and I truly believe indie authors be struggling. And I've heard some horror stories of indie authors who basically are damn near homeless.
Oh, wow.
They're still putting out books for you by going to the library to write their shit because they can't afford a computer. But you would never know. But then you have people making stupid ass videos talking about, oh, this shit is garbage, or I don't like this about an indie author. Shut your pie hole and shut the fuck up. God damn. I hear so much. I'm so sorry, Rowdy, to do this on your interview.
No, it's fine, because it's a good conversation to have, because I feel the same way. It's just, again, Booktalk is a whole different beast than any other social media platform and any other group. Like, the book in Instagram, like, it's a different community. In my opinion, they're less volatile. They're less quick to like try and trash you, and like, and you're right, readers don't even understand the journey, the cost. Not only is it time consuming to write this, the cost to produce it and get it published. If you don't have the funds, there's this, okay, we're gonna go down this road, Storm, I guess.
We are. I gave up trying to be okay. I tried, Rowdy. I know I promised. Well, I tried.
As long as it's productive, because I think this is productive, because something, this whole thing about book covers too. And again, I say it's a give and take. The readers have a responsibility to use their platform. If they're a big book talker, use it responsibly. So when I see videos, and I never jump on, I'm not a social media debater, fighter, arguer, because I think it's cowardly to do that online, because you ain't gonna do that in person. People act very different in person. I've never been one to, I am who I am. So I don't do that. And I think it's unproductive, and people just do it for clicks. And so you're gonna be a mean girl online? You're gonna come at an independent author who you don't know their life, just like you just said. You don't know their struggle, but they're doing the best they can because they have a great story that they want to get out. They can't pay $500 for somebody to go to Adobe stock photos and put together Adobe stock photos for a cover. But people are getting mad at indie authors for doing the best they can trying to make these covers. Some make them themselves. Some may use elements of AI, whatever. But I'm like, a graphic designer. These graphic designers out here are taking other people's pictures and using them. So why are you getting mad at an indie author who's doing the best they can?
Because some of them can't afford that shit.
They can't afford it. Like, so it starts with the community. And it's like, that's the whole thing about being indie. It means you have to do it yourself, and you have to figure it out, and you're going to get better and better each time you progress. So don't come at an indie author with, you're just cheap. No, I'm just broke. Like, and I'm doing the best I can. And thank you for calling it out and telling everybody that you think that really what the issue is I'm doing the best I can. I don't have the money for it, but you now calling me out because you think I'm being cheap. You don't know my life, lady. So that hasn't happened to me personally, but that's the things that I see. And I'm like, we're indie, like, and y'all are consuming our stuff. Y'all should be encouraging us as we get better, as we move through this. that whole, and I'm going to go there, Storm, I'm sorry, but that whole argument and debate about AI in the book community has got me so 38 hot because I am a techie. I love technology, and I'm going to speak to Black people and Black authors and Black readers and Black consumers. Y'all better learn that technology. Y'all better understand it. It's not going nowhere. And Black people have historically been left out of technology because they tell us we don't need to learn it. They tell us it's not for us, it's not good, and we believe it, and then we get left behind. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going nowhere. And if y'all think for a second at these big publishing houses, they ain't using it in some form or fashion, you're crazy. You are crazy because they are. And for y'all to get here, I'm going to get off my soapbox in a minute, but for y'all to get on here as a reader and not understand the behind the scenes and ins and outs and dog somebody is crazy. I'm going to say this. Y'all need to learn technology and don't get left behind and use it ethically. There's ethical ways to do it. And even if you don't like it and don't want to use it, that's okay too. You don't have to, but you should understand how it impacts you because it's not going anywhere and it's only growing. And that blows my mind that readers get on here and dog authors for just trying to do the best they can with what they...
Say that one more time. Say that one more time. Go say that one more time.
It really does. It grinds my gears. And it makes me sad more than anything that they get on here and dog authors for doing the best they can with what they have. Because not everybody has the funds to pay somebody for that. So they got to do what they got to do until you, the consumer, supports them and they get their bag up and now they can hire somebody. That's the progress. Like, we don't get no grace for progress. And that's the part that I wish would change. Give us a little grace for progress.
And look, y'all, I'm really trying to hold back here because I know my ass. I just feel like on some real shit, I constantly debate with a lot of things. Hold on, the puzzle piece. I constantly debate with a lot of things when it comes to being on TikTok. It was so much hate towards so many people that I read. I enjoy their books. I enjoy them as people. That it was blowing me. You know what I'm saying? It was blowing me to the point, like, even if I made a video about it, it would just be a tick for tack because we would be going back and forth online. You know, and that's not my personality.
Yeah.
I don't do the argument shit. At least not in person. But but I just feel like everybody wants a click. Everybody wants to be like the white influencers.
Yeah, Storm, that's why I think I struggle with growth on TikTok. I do, because I'm not going to I don't think about making a video for clicks.
Yeah.
And that's probably wrong because TikTok, that's what it's about, I guess. But that's not what it's about for me.
And that's why I'm saying this, because it's really not about that, because it's what people have made it into. You know, this mean girl mentality, mean guy mentality is so overwhelming. This app thrives on chaos and discord. And it's the few over the many type situation. There's not a lot of us in Black Booktalk that are causing shit.
There's not.
But the ones that have these big platforms, or they have enough views where it gets pushed out, they tend to cause the most discord.
Yeah,
and they'll run away. After they cause the discord, you don't hear nothing else about it. They might make a little follow-up video, but you're doing the shit for them, so they really don't have to do too much, you know.
With all the stickers and the reposts and all the rebooks or whatever.
I feel like, Jesus. I feel like us as book readers, those of us that review books, we have to be mindful. We have to be mindful of how we talk about these books. If you don't like something, you can do it in a constructive way that it doesn't disrespect the author.
Yep.
Even if you feel in your spirit you have to tell it, you can do it in a way that you don't disrespect the author, and have readers like, oh, I'm not gonna read that shit because blah blah blah. Because some readers literally take some of your reviewers' words to heart, and if you say no, they won't even engage with this author. I've seen it happen. You don't have to make a video list of books that you can't stand.
So I guess I'm not on that. I didn't see
You're lucky.
Wow, that would be.
You don't have to show us your Goodreads of you saying you hate certain books from Black authors. They have DMs. They have emails. Try them.
Respectfully.
And then there are authors who like to start a bunch of mess because they don't like another author, so they start a lot of mess and they incorporate their readers to come after the author. These are people's livelihoods. I had one author DM me today and literally say, my 9-to-5 is kicking my ass and I'm hoping to become a full-time author. And y'all not getting it. People have regular jobs trying to do this indie shit and they struggling. They barely getting sleep or don't sleep.
That's me too, no sleep. I'll sleep when I'm with the...
So if you're going to make content, make it respectfully. You make it respectfully.
Yeah, don't tag an author in if you didn't like their book, that's okay. I'm gonna say this personally. If you don't like my book, that's fine, because it probably maybe it wasn't for you. But don't tag me and tell me you didn't like it. That's just disrespectful. It's because if we didn't have social media, would you run out and find me to tell me that you didn't like my? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. You may do a review to say why you didn't like it, but you wouldn't find me, I would hope, and be like, I didn't like this. So why are you tagging them?
That shit is wild, Shannon.
Being mean. Just don't. I'm an author who rarely reads her reviews. I rarely read reviews, Storm. I don't. Mostly if someone sends it to me. Mm-hmm. And be like, oh, this is a nice review, or this was funny, but I won't go read them because I want to stay in a positive, creative headspace for one. And, reviews are more for readers. They also help authors too. Because if I ever deem myself to go read a bunch of reviews and I saw a theme where readers were like, there's one thing I do that they really didn't like, I might have to reevaluate that. But really it's for readers, because even if someone doesn't like it, there's a reader who might be like, I like it for that reason. So I'm not saying, good reviews, bad reviews are okay. Review it how you want. Don't tag me in bad reviews and ruin my day.
Exactly. And that also goes to narrators. You guys, it's fiction, y'all. You don't have to stalk these people and be in their DMs talking about how you want them to wet up your panties. Okay? Or guys trying to get with female narrators and being very disrespectful. It's fiction, y'all. They some of them are married.
That's yeah. We've blurred the lines a little bit. TikTok especially has blurred the lines a lot because we do these lives. I think it's blurred the lines with readers, authors, narrators. Just like everybody, and it is a little weird. That's I think that's probably a phobia I have, which is why I like being behind the scenes, which is like a director's, I picked creative things, I think, because I thought I could be behind the scenes. And I could until social media. Directing is strictly behind the scenes. Editing, freaking writing. Writers is think about it. Stephen King, I never knew what he looked like for a very long time.
Yeah, I had all these ideas of how this man looked, and boy, was I disappointed. But go on.
But because social media, he's got to put himself out there. It's just a different time and a different world. And while I understand it, that doesn't mean we have to be mean to each other. We have to like it's so much harsher too online because people know you can't touch them immediately, right? So they come out with their whole chest and say these things that are derogatory, demeaning, mean, ruining people's livelihoods. And it's because you're sitting at home behind a computer. And it's when did we become so soulless, y'all?
Gunshot, you do not have to be nervous about the Booktalk community because
stay on the right group.
Yeah, you what is for you will come to you. The people that you least expect to come to you will be on your doorstep. Because there are so many good people in Booktalk, Black Book. It's so many good people. It's just the outliners always get all the attention, so we get the fallback. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There are so many book clubs that are so amazing. There are so many communities in Booktalk that are so amazing. It's so many authors that are so amazing. But once again, this app feeds on chaos and discord.
And that's too bad too, because there's so many, like the different groups, and even like I'm always gonna give y'all's love, because even like Boozy Book Tour focusing on indie authors, BIPOC authors, like y'all gotta support that. This is the time. This is what I've been talking about the whole time. So Storm and Shannon started something, and they're grabbing our hands and pulling us with them. And why wouldn't we go grab the other indie authors who may not know about them and pull them, or our readers and pull them to attend the event? Like, that's what I mean. Like, pay it forward. Like, that's the community that we should be building, and not letting people come in and tear that down. And then if people are doing other events that you hear about it, why can't we cross promote each other instead of trying to be negative, if you will, and try and be divisive? Like, that's crazy. Instead, dig up your sisters and your brothers doing stuff in this community to help indie authors. Like, let's get together. Like, that's all I want. Like, that's what I want for this community, because it's so crazy. And we need to not operate. We know better than that. Like,
we do. I just want to say this, and I want to preface this with my whole heart. You cannot disrespect everybody, because there's bitches like me who'll roll up on your ass.
Don't do it.
Immediately. I don't care what state you in. I'll roll up on your ass. You better ask somebody about me. But needless to say, I feel like there's so many events. You got Monica Walters event coming up next year, which is more of a rodeo type experience. You have Eshivon, who is in Miami. There are annual things that are going on, but y'all focus on the wrong shit. Because there's some of y'all that'll be like, oh, that's too ghetto. There's some of y'all who say, I'm too up here to be at an event like that. There's some of y'all that, I can't get down with a certain author, so I'm not going to visit my faves at the same fucking event.
That's crazy.
It's insane. And then there's some of y'all that, they like big events. And there's some who like small events. But they're there for you in the Black and BIPOC community. But y'all wind up going to these motherfuckers, and I'm going to put it out there, Stimulant, in Low Country, whatever the fuck that shit is. And y'all paying $400 or $500 for a ticket and getting shit. And y'all only get like 2 seconds with the authors. When there are events that are smaller, more meaningful, and you get to really talk to these authors. I don't understand, but hey.
I don't either, and we just got to do better. We've got to get together and start promoting positivity, because that's me. Like, I'm just a happy person. I like being happy. Like, I do. I like, especially in my creative bag, I like being happy. I like having a good time. If I'm going to do something creative, we're going to do it in a fun way. We're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
Our sets were always a good time. Like, we always had fun. People like working with us. We had like actors would be like, we love y'all sets. Like, just cultivate a positive environment. Like, people are probably going to be like, oh, she's way too cheery. But so I'd rather be cheery and happy than running around mean and like talking about people all day and just sowing discord and just, no, let's be happy, let's have fun, and let's move forward and help each other. Like, that's me. I'm always talking to you about helping and, bigging y'all up and building community. Like, that is important to me. Treating people well.
Yeah.
Helping others come up. And not being scared that if you help somebody come up, it's going to dim your light. That is so weird to me.
Oh my God, I hate that.
The light that was given to each individual was given to you. Like, nobody can steal my shine. Sorry, not sorry. Like, that's just how I grew up in life. I have all older sisters grew up that way. And I firmly believe that there is plenty enough to go around. We do not have to be fighting each other and degrading each other. We can all make it. There's so many romance in the literary world. Romance is the top seller. It makes the most revenue. So there's clearly plenty to go around.
It really
we
is.
We just embrace each other and be willing to help each other and pay it forward. And reach behind you, reach back and grab the next indie author and bring them with you. Like, that's what we got to do. And the readers, y'all got to do the same thing.
Maturity is to understand you cannot like everyone, but you can tolerate and respect people. That's maturity. There is plenty of authors that I personally don't like as personal. Their personal shit. But their writing style is so amazing that I could never take away from their craft.
So I have a question. That's the other thing I have a question too about, like, social media. Like, when people are like, oh, I don't like this author, what do they mean? Do they really, like, I know you in person, not, but like.
It's different from everybody, Rowdy, because some people just hate to hate. You know what I'm saying? There are some people who just hate, and regardless of what you do, whether it's good, whether it's bad, they just hate to hate. Because you don't look a certain type of way, you don't talk a certain type of way, and you don't write a certain type of way. They are the people that like to compare you to their face. So they'll hate to hate. And then you have some people like me who may not personally, and I mean personally, like, I know this person, I've talked to this person, they have said some fuck shit and I did not like it. Or either I done told them they said some fuck shit and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But I can't take away from the gift that they have in writing. Yeah. So you would never know I don't like this person because I am literally excited about their literary work. So it's literally them against us type situation. So you have readers that will literally, I don't like that she says nigga all the time. I don't like that she don't say nigga. I don't like that the character was too realistic. I don't like the character not being realistic. So they're going to hate regardless. It's a double-edged sword, and unfortunately, like I said, the outliners of hate will always be put in the front, whereas the logical and the meaningful people will be put in the back. And it's unfortunate. And I hate it for y'all authors, for real.
It really is, because, like, again, every story is not for everybody, and that's okay. It's just how you go about it, because it is for somebody. So respectfully, give your feedback in a way that's constructive, not in a way to bash and make someone feel bad. And because authors, we do have feelings, which is why I don't read reviews. I don't actively go out and read them because I want to keep my confidence, my creativity first and foremost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys also, and I'm going to say this as I hold your hand. Matter of fact, I'm going to stop doing jazz. I'm not going to hold your hand. I'm just going to say it. Y'all authors be picking the wrong type of beta readers, the wrong type of ARC readers. People who are popular is not always the best people to read your books. The reviews be piss poor. I'm not saying you got to do a thesis like I do, but some of these reviews be piss poor and half-ass. And then some of y'all are paying these reviewers to do, reviews or just read your book.
I didn't think you could do that. I thought that you weren't supposed to do that. Like Amazon, you can get in trouble.
But, there are some authors that are out here having influencers promote their books, and they're paying them a pretty penny to promote their books, and they're doing half-ass. And if you told them to promote their faves, hey, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. But your book is, yes, it was good, blah, blah, blah. It's never, it's just, we look at numbers we look at quantity over quality. There is a lot of quality reviewers, ARC readers, beta readers that we look over because they don't have the following. And then we get the quantity of bullshit when you get to those reviewers, ARC readers, and beta readers who have the following. Everybody needs to know the difference. And it's unfortunate that the ones that have the biggest followings are the loudest voices. Unfortunate.
So, as a reader, then, so I'm an author and I need to build an ARC team. I do, because you know how I drop my books.
Chaos.
Drop them. Mad chaos. Like, it's almost diabolical that I do that.
It is, because Vanessa's choice just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, like I do that to myself. It's diabolical. But I'm always like, okay, but where do I go to find ARC readers? Like,
I'm glad you said that. Segue. This is like a fucking infomercial. Segue, because at the Boozy Book Solutions LLC, Publishing LLC, we have a Boozy book community who does it for free, who will read your books as art. We will definitely get you an ARC team that fits you, a beta team that fits you, and we will make sure that they act accordingly because those are the genres in which they read.
So, I'm glad you said that, because you have authors like me who are I still consider myself new to TikTok. And I know I'm always seeing like, oh, ARC reader, like posts. And I'm like, how did I get that? So I think it's great that Boozy Book Baddies has that service, because I'm trying not to be so chaotic. I will use it for my next drop. I will use the service, because I was like, I just want to write and create. I don't want to do the marketing and none of that stuff, which also which leads me back to what we were kind of talking about before with helping other entrepreneurs and other Black women come up. Our lovely Brandy from Etched, like I have solicited, she just started her little company. Yes, visual design, graphics or whatever for authors. And again, she just started. I saw that her video passed my FYP twice, and then I saved it, and then I talked to you, and then I DM'd her and had a meeting, and now she's working on something for me. But this is what I'm talking about. And then to take it a step further, we're talking about it on here. But this is what I mean, y'all. We're pulling her forward. And she's not an author. She's in the book world, but she's providing a different type of service. Brand new entrepreneur, Black woman. We just pulled her forward talking about her. It's as simple as that. There's only 20 people in here, but those 20 people now know Etched and what she does, and they might tell somebody else. Like, that's what I'm talking about, right? And I'm happy to do it. Like, I am happy to promote her stuff, because she's an entrepreneur. She's a Black woman. She's trying to do something. Yeah, she's good. And she's trying to build something. So, like, this is what we should be doing, y'all, with our time, with our lives, not bickering and fighting and all that other nonsense.
I want to say, I know I interview you again tomorrow as a film company, but I just want to let y'all know that Rowdy and her business partner, I don't want to fuck up her name, but Sunshine, I want y'all to understand that they are two black women that own the indie film production company. And I interview both of them tomorrow, but I want to put that out there. They are sponsors for Boozy Book. They believed in Boozy Book Tour that started with 2 females, and it's under the umbrella of a publishing service with 6 black females. They believed in us so much they sponsored us. So, and then you have Brandy, who is also a sponsor, who just started her business, but she is so good with visuals. Like, I'm serious. And she sponsored us. Then you have the Diggs Boys. Indie love all day. But in the Diggs Boys, who are, it's 4 of them, right?
Yeah.
4 black men with a whole bourbon that is a partnership with us. They didn't have to do that, but it's like, but we wouldn't have that if it wasn't for her and her business partner.
But that's what I'm talking about. Connecting all of us together, paying it forward. So, I be telling you I'm quietly connected. I'm always like, I'm quietly connected, because one thing I learned in the entertainment industry is that I keep a lot of things close to the vest. And you use your connects wisely for what you believe in, and to help people.
Exactly.
And so I knew that my business partner, that's her real old school connect, like they grew up together. And so when I went to the Boozy Book Tour events, and I think they're amazing. And I'm always thinking of ways, how can I help you guys grow and get better and get to that next level? And I thought, well, she has that solid connect. They got their liquor company. Let's see what happens. And it's all about connections. It matters. It's not, listen, what you know is extremely important, but who you know is even more important sometimes when you need help or to get to where you need to go. And we are happy to do it. We're happy to sponsor a business that we believe in, a growing business that supports indie authors. We're happy to bring on whatever other Black sponsors we can to help y'all and connect it and pay it forward. That's all I'm saying. And that's like,
and we appreciate you and your business partner so much. Rowdy, and I'm not trying to do emotional shit because I'm the furthest from emotional, but on some real shit, y'all hear me and the Boozy Book Baddies always talking about sponsorship and partnership shit. I would have never been able to talk to people the way I talk to people now to get us sponsorships and stuff if I wasn't mentored by this woman. If I hadn't listened to this woman literally talk to me, like literally, she took what my strengths were and helped me cultivate it enough that I can go and talk to a business right now and be confident in it. It was because of her. You know what I'm saying? And actually, it was because of her and her business partners, because they believed in us. And our other sponsor, the book readers venue, they are literally a bookstore in Houston that sells indie author books. I'm gonna repeat that, indie author books, because not a lot of bookstores selling a lot of the indie author books. She is literally selling the books. You can walk in her store on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and buy the same books you see on here in her store. But y'all gotta support people like that.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta support that. Rowdy Gun Shy. It's Sky, right? Sky.
Gunshot, yeah. Rowdy Gunshot.
Shy literally has indie films. How many of y'all have actually went to the website and looked at the films that they made, and then go to the YouTube series and looked at the web series? They do have a web series.
We got some crazy stuff. That web series won some awards, just so y'all know. They outlandish, but they won some awards.
But it's about supporting. These are Black women. We got it hard as fuck out here.
We do.
You know? So
what we have coming up, Storm, we're gonna need, like, what we want to do in the indie book world with film and marry the two on an indie level, because we know we see stuff getting made on Netflix and all of that. That's not an easy thing to come by the way. But because you have indie, that's why I embrace it. You can make what you want and do what you want. And we are so excited for what's coming up next year and what we're trying to do with marrying those two worlds. I can't even talk about it on here, even though my business partner, for whatever reason, dropped it last night on a live, but there were only 5 people, thank God. But because we'll probably
hold off until
tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Yes, but we have stuff coming up, but it is going to take support from the community because we are, 2 Black women, and we got resources, but it's going to take the community to help us get what y'all are going to want to see, what I know y'all are going to want to have happen. Let me just say that.
And that means
we don't be half-stepping. I'm going to say that because I don't even like to, I have a hard time, look, I'm stuttering now. I have a hard time talking about myself and our accolades and things, but I think it's important because a lot of people can say, oh, I can make film. No, you can, but will it be good? Will it get you into American Black Film Festival? It got us into American Black Film Festival, the largest Black film festival in the United States. It got us into the Houston Comedy Film Festival. We won awards. Like we won Best Comedy, Best Supporting Actor, Best Leading Actress. We won Pitch Fest at Austin. Like we are so passionate about it, and it's all in the details. And it takes community and it takes support, is what I'm going to say. And because we're entering the Booktalk world with it, we have to I want to just make sure we're navigating in the right way and people understand that we're coming from a place of just progress and trying to push indie authors forward, Black authors forward, POC authors forward, hell, women authors, because we also like to work with all women crew. Like I'm getting too far into it, but there are so many things that me and my business partner promote around women, minorities. Like that's our thing. We just want a seat at the table, and we want to pull everybody to join us at that table.
But I want to say this: when we say seat at the table, when they don't give it to us, we make our fucking own. Because at the end of the day, let's take the Essence Festival. The Essence Festival is grand, but it became corporate.
It did.
And so it took away from the family aspect in which it started out to be. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to talk about Boozy Book Tour for this. Boozy Book Tour, I hope and I pray and I manifest that it's on that level, but still small. If that even makes sense, but still small. You know what I'm saying? And if we stick as a community, can't nobody fuck our shit up. But us. And to answer Maya, yes, we are coming to the West Coast. We're coming to Las Vegas in 2026. But for us to stick together, we have to believe in each other's dream.
Yes.
I could believe all day and manifest it, but if the people ain't coming, it doesn't move. We're moving as a unit against the odds. You know what I'm saying? Black women, Black men, BIPOC. I always will put my people first because those are my ancestors' people. So therefore, they are my people.
That's why I split Black and POC. I don't really say BIPOC anymore.
But I also have to put BIPOC on when it comes to me because I have Afro-Cuban children.
Girl, I have a whole Brazilian family, so yes.
So I have Afro-Cuban children, so look.
If we want to get really deep, I have a whole white family. I have a whole, I'm definitely a very much a much, but it is what it is. I love them all.
I literally have a white family in Germany.
I live in America, and I know how America sees me, so it is, you know what I mean?
Right. So we have to support one another. And that's why I encourage you to come tomorrow, because the questions that I asked today will not be the questions that I ask tomorrow about the film industry, because even though I do book reviews, I do film reviews, but I like indie films. Mm-hmm. I like regular films, believe me, I do, because I like Venom and I like Deadpool and I like that shit. But I like indie films that I can catch on YouTube.
Yeah,
That I can catch on Sundance. You know, I like those indie films because it gives a platform to those type of directors and film production companies. Because Blumhouse did not start out as a big a big film production. They were indie.
they were
Before Rob Zombie and all of them got their hands into everything. You know, so, and if you don't know who Blumhouse is, I'm sorry.
Goodbye. Good day to you. Good day to you. You can't sit with us.
Right. But I just, y'all gotta support. And I want y'all to come tomorrow because we, as book, I don't want to say too much. Okay. As book people, it will behoove you as authors and readers. You want your favorite book to be in film, and you know the only place they're gonna go is Tubi.
The production value of Tubi gives me anxiety.
Maybe you should look at other indie platforms or people who are starting other indie platforms to put it out there. Even though Michael B. Jordan is a big name, him and what's the director for Black Panther?
Oh, I can't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
They still looking for things that is pretty much kind of indie, but is Black community.
Yeah,
Jordan Peele, I don't like him personally, but I love his films.
yes.
Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler, yes. I could not remember his name.
But they look for indie. And there's so many books out here that we love. And I ain't talking about that. I am not talking about that. I can't even say it because it's going to start some shit. I'm not talking about that.
You know I don't be knowing. What is it?
I'm just going to say, I'm not talking about contemporary romance.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about paranormal, white shoes. You already know what I'm talking.
We can do what we want in indie.
Right. I'm talking about paranormal, white, nasty just joined. Why the fuck Brothers Unholy 1, 2, and 3 to come ain't a movie or a series? But that Black vampires, but Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan saw the benefit of that. But we have so many books that do that. Why the fuck Potts? Product of the Street? That shit be bigger than Power.
Like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Besides, it will be bigger than that. Why isn't Vanessa's choice?
It could be.
Because we want a good poly type. We want that. You know what I'm saying? But we have indie film companies. We have indie authors that deserve to be seen. It's not about Tubi. It's not about Passion Flicks. It's not about them because they're not about us.
Right, they're not.
Tubi is ran by a white man that started out WB. He started out UPN and then switched it over to white.
Yep, they're going to do the same thing with Tubi. I know it. That's another reason. If you're in the film industry, like really heavy, and you get behind the scenes and you start to see how that stuff operates, that's why I am loath to put anything on Tubi. My business partner, we talked about it. I won't do it. I was like, no. For one, I understand what they're doing, and they're using us like they always do to make it profitable, and then they're going to wipe it out and turn it into something else.
Y'all finna get a 411 that I ain't never told nobody. Tubi offered me a podcast on their show, on their station, on their platform, to do my podcast weekly on Tubi, bringing in black independent authors. And I turned it down. I know some of y'all be like, that's stupid.
No,
but,
I don't.
I chose not to. It was my choice, my decision, and I had my reasons. It wasn't the pay, it wasn't the money, it was what they were saying. Remember I told y'all about changing my looks, changing how I speak, changing how I drink? Right. So I turned that down. You know, and I want to say this. when I say people who have big followings or people who are trying to appeal so they can get money, I'm not doing that. It's not about, yes, money is important because money is everything in the world, but it's not to sell my soul.
Right. It's sure nice to have, but yeah, not at the expense of your soul. And by the way, I don't worry about money. I stopped worrying about money a long time ago, and it just comes to me. I'm not a worrier about money, and I hope everybody else gets to that point. Because when you stop worrying about it and you just know you got it, it's going to just keep flowing in. But yeah, back to your point. Cherry, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I'm not trying to knock it, but it's just, they use us. They use us.
And I also want to say, some of y'all who like, I can't even say their name because that would be a lawsuit happening. But there's a talk show that wanted me to come on and talk about indie authors, but they wanted me to talk about certain indie authors that I never read before and wanted me to fake the funk. I didn't go on their show. Like I said, when it comes to authentic people, they're gonna do what their conscience really dictates. And I could never go on a show and not talk about Rowdy, Mo, Kenya Wright, Phoenix Williams, motherfucking Blanco. I could never go on a show like that and say nothing about them, but say everything about other shit. There's a lot of shit, even my sisters that I call my best friends don't even know that I have turned down because they didn't want to talk about Boozy Book Tour. They didn't want to talk about indie authors that wasn't going traditional. There's magazine articles I've turned down. There's big festivals I turned down. I've been invited to a lot of non-Black festivals that want me to be a moderator for their shit. But it's like 5 Black authors out of 200 white authors. So I literally, when I say this, I mean this from my heart. I never tell y'all something that I will do and want y'all to do that is not important. And it's important for me to support indie authors. Now, mind you, 2 years ago, I was not about this life because I was only reading traditionally published authors out of Barnes and Nobles because that's all I knew.
Yeah.
The pandemic happened and had to buckle down. I learned about Black Booktalk. I learned about indie authors that write the same stories that I love and white authors and with Black characters. BBW characters. Urban fiction, contemporary, dark, everything. Y'all gotta do your research. Stop saying that, oh, I wish an author would write this. They do.
At this point, I'm like, if I see another video where somebody's saying I'm trying to find Black authors, I'm like, huh? You're on TikTok. They're everywhere. Like, you can put the search bar and find the indie author hashtag, and you're going to find a bunch of indie authors. Like, it's really not that hard. And even indie Black author, it's not that hard to find them. I just think it's, again, for clicks. I don't know that they really want to. So...
And that's unfortunate. And I just want to say, before we end this, Rowdy, I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you too.
You probably hear it again tomorrow, but this time it'll be with you and your partner, because I have some words for her as well. But I appreciate you guys so much. Y'all give a platform for people like me who want to support you, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your creativity. I appreciate your Aquariusness. I appreciate your support. There were times when me and Shannon just wanted to give up. There were times when the Boozy Book Baddies wanted to give up. But we had people like you in our corner that believed in everything that we did or do or will do. and it means so much to us. We in every meeting we have, you are a topic
Really?
because you motivate us to do more. You, E,
Good.
Mo, Kenya, y'all literally motivate us to push forward. The boozy book baddies, the readers, y'all motivate us, and I appreciate it so fucking much that it's just ridiculous.
That's
You
perfect.
know, if you ever need a pit bull to knock a bitch out, that's me. But you know, but I even if it's down to business and you feel like you know, and I know you a business minded motherfucker,
Mm-hmm.
but if you ever
People
need,
find that surprising about me. I think they will find that very surprising.
but if you ever need the pit bull, I'm here for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm here because I roll up on that. But but no, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate that you guys are sponsoring the 360 booth. I appreciate you for sponsoring the security.
Yeah.
I appreciate you for believing in us to get in touch with Diggs Boys and have them as a partner in regards to the liquor. I appreciate you promoting us. You know, I just feel like there's not even enough that we can do to support you and your partner because y'all have really legitimately believed in us so much that you lit a fire under our ass that we started the LLC.
That's awesome. Yay! I'm so proud of
Yeah.
y'all.
And I can't thank you enough to I just can't thank you enough. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of out my wheelhouse with this emotional shit. But
Well, you let me know. Non-huggers.
but I love you so much. You know, can't nobody say nothing bad about Rowdy, and I know her business partner don't know me that well, but they can't even say nothing bad about her, or you gonna have to deal with Storm.
Oh, y'all should be scared. Why?
But I feel like, you know, as Black women, us sticking together, we can do so much.
I
And even the male authors, y'all can learn a couple of things from us. You know what I'm saying? Follow the leader. Y'all are really not the leaders, but I'm just saying. Well, but I appreciate you so much, and before we get out of here, I just want to invite some people to say some things to you before we because that's my new thing: encouragement, positivity, and you know, manifestation.
Bye,
So
Rowdy.
Hi, Shan. Shenanigan. That's my shenanigan partner.
go ahead, say what you got to say, ma'am.
You caught me off guard. I'm in the middle of a sprint. But I love you guys. I love both of y'all. Man, I thank y'all for both of y'all. Like for real, I thank both of y'all for being in my life because baby, it like Storm said, it's been so many days that I just want to quit this shit because of, all the shit that we gotta deal with on a day to day. But you keep us grounded, you keep us pushing forward. And I thank you and your business partner for, believing in us, stepping behind us and, giving us connections, lighting a fire under Storm's ass because she's been out here killing the game, bro. Killing it. And I thank you for your business insight and everything because you have helped us tremendously. That's it. Goodbye.
I can't stand you.
I'm hollering. But before we leave, I need you to tell the people where they can find your books, your website, and do you have a newsletter, and anything you want them to know about signings and anything else.
Okay, before I say that, really quick, I just have to say reciprocity here to say that thank you, Storm and Shannon, for putting on the Boozy Book Tour. I'm really grateful that I found you guys on Booktalk because I was just out here and I started out on the other side and was like, it is toxic over here. And what can I do to find my side? And I found it and it was, there's different groups and they're all great, but you guys the way that y'all cut for indie authors and BIPOC authors, it hits different. And I hope people understand that. That's why I cut for y'all so hard. And I can see the vision and I can see the potential. And I just want to witness the growth and the greatness. And I appreciate you guys for being so open to my business feedback, because I am a different Rowdy in business, right?
Yes.
I'm very different in business. I don't play about my business.
You don't.
And what I love to do is help people, help women, especially women, y'all. I love to help women and Black women, but women in general, to do something. And like you said, you got 2 women, and I thank you guys because y'all helped me come out of my shell online. Y'all help promote my books because you know I suck at it. I don't even think y'all don't do it because you know I suck at it. I'm just saying I suck. But you guys, the reciprocity, and it's not even monetary, y'all. The reciprocity here is just support and love and helping each other progress. And I thank you for that, because I go to Boozy Book Tour even if I'm not an author. I've been not as
she has.
and I had a blast, and I made real connections, and I met other authors who gave me nuggets of wisdom, and I appreciate that. And I hope people hear me and decide to join in on this thing and ride this wave with y'all to the top, because it's such a good feeling. There's nothing fake about it. It's like so organic, and that's how it should be. So I appreciate y'all for that. So I have to get that out, because like Storm, I really talk about you a lot. Whenever I'm talking about my business partner, we talk about, because I talk about what you guys are doing, and you're a sponge. So I see that you take all the business feedback and you be applying and implementing that stuff. And so I do have a lot of faith in you and what you and Shannon are doing and y'all's ability to take this. So yeah, I hope people understand what a good thing this is and don't take it for granted, and get on board, y'all. Get on board. Okay, enough of that. But so what do I have coming up? I have Boozy Book Tour Houston. So I have Boozy Book Tour Houston coming up, and my level of comfort with Shannon and Storm is through the roof, because this is my first time doing a book tour as an author, and I have to feel really comfortable to do something like that. So I will be at Boozy Book Tour Houston. I will also be in Tulsa. I think I already signed up for Chicago, Las Vegas. I done signed up for next year all the way to 2026. One place you will find me is on the Boozy Book Tour in some form or fashion. Okay, that's what I have coming up, and then I've got and please come to Houston because I've got some cool stuff planned for my table. So I'm really excited about that. And then obviously I just put out Vanessa's Choice. If you haven't read it, read that. All of my books are on my TikTok shop. All except for a couple are on my TikTok shop. My website is just authorrowdyrooksy.com. It actually is up to date. It's current right now. Yeah, that's what I have coming up. And then tomorrow we'll be on with Boozy Book Tour, you and Shannon and me and my business partner Gunshy, to talk about Rowdy Gunshy Productions, Boozy Book Tour, and all of that. So yeah.
Actually, it depends. It may be just me, and it will be Shannon and the Boozy Book Betty chiming in.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
You never know what could happen.
Well, I'm excited for it and I'm ready for it. And I just thank you so much, Storm, for everything you do for indie authors and in the book community. I appreciate you.
This means the world to me. And if people don't know the story, is I suffer from PTSD from the military. I had COVID that almost killed me. Or unalived, F1. Unalived me. And it changed my outlook because I have long haul COVID. And if you don't know, I play rugby, football, and lift weights. it kind of sidelined my career. And so books saved me from myself. So as a veteran and as a person that reads books, it saved me from myself, and it also gave me inspiration to continue on. So take with that as you will, because it's hard having PTSD being a veteran, and it's hard to deal with situations that hinder you from living.
Mm-hmm.
So books kind of saved my life. And it wasn't traditional books. It was indie books that saved my life.
That's what's up.
So when I say that I'm here because of indie authors, I mean it. That's why I'm so passionate about it. Now you know the story.
That's amazing, yo. That's amazing. Like, I'm telling you, as an author, like, I feel like that is, we love to hear it. Like, we love to hear it because fiction is escapism. Like, I escape in a book and I love it. That's why I'm always like, it doesn't matter what your choice is, what your genre is, it's your genre. Go escape in that shit and like have a good time. And then when you can, come back to the real world.
It literally saved my life. It literally saved my life. And further with that, the Boozy Book Baddies really saved my life. Because I have a condition where I can mimic feelings and emotions, but I can't in reality have those feelings and emotions. So it's been something that I had since I was a child. And being in this community has helped me more than going to a therapist. Not saying don't go to a therapist if you need to. But I'm saying for me, the individual, it has helped me understand people's emotions more so than thinking just logically, because I can't think very logical without having empathy. So it helps me understand people more. When I read books, even though it's fiction, indie authors really write in realism, so I can understand the situations. And it helps me understand emotions and better equip me to deal with emotions. Whether, especially your book, The Assignment, even Vanessa's Choice, it kind of just, it does help. You know what I'm saying? So not everybody go to a therapist. Don't listen to me and don't go to your therapist. Go to your therapist. But it helped me to understand emotions. That's why I say I go hard for indie authors, because there's a reason behind it. It's not fake. It's literally medical and emotional. I need it. You know, so I appreciate you guys 100%. And before we get off of here, I do want to say, yes, we did form an LLC, because I saw some shit in the comments. We did form an LLC. It is 6 of us. We're called a Solid 6. We are part of the Boozy Book Baddies community. What started with me and Shannon has now evolved into 6 people. The Boozy Book Tour was started by Shannon and myself. So when you hear people say Shannon and I almost say my government name. Shannon and Storm, started the Boozy Book Tour. We did. But now it's 6 of us. And we do it as a team. Professionally. We learned that from Rowdy. Professionally.
Good job.
And because of that, we now have so many services that we offer. Some are free and some that you have to pay for. Now, I don't expect you to think that you're not going to pay for editing, because you're going to have to pay for editing. But it will not probably be at the price that you think it will be. Development editing. We have Author Nasty, who does that. We have Shannon, who owns her own, and I must stress this, owns her own online bookstore. She owns her own online bookstore, and you can get your books in a book box, because we are now offering book bundles that are for the book the Boozy Book Baddies. Each bundle represents us, where I'm paranormal and erotic. Shannon might be dark romance and contemporary. Well, not contemporary, because I don't see that ever happening. But dark romance and paranormal. Where Nasty might be thriller and horror. Where Jazz may be contemporary and urban fiction. But those are the things that you will get. And then you have Beauty, who is a logistics travel agent to the authors and readers. And she does it without the airlines issues. Mm. And then you have Shawnee, who is a narrator. Black female narrator who can do female and male voices. Not taking away from you male authors, but fuck y'all. But I'm just saying, black, female, and male narrators, she can do that. No, well, not fuck y'all, because I like some of y'all male narrators. But she can do that. And she's a mentor. Just saying, 2 narrators. And then you have, who did I leave out? Jazz, who makes author merch and readers merch on demand. Come on now. And then on our site, we literally have t-shirts, sweatshirts, and shot glasses that can be customized. And then you have people like Rowdy. But you're not going to find out until tomorrow. You have to tune in to what her and her business partner have to offer. You're not going to find out. You got to tune in at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. So it's early enough for y'all to stop saying, I can't stay up that late. You can.
That's early.
That's early. But you need to tune in because they have some announcements for indie authors, indie readers. Y'all might want to come over there and find out what the hell they got to say. But in the meantime, y'all really need to be going to their site, the Rowdy Gunshy. What's your website?
RowdyGunshyProductions.com.
Y'all need to go to their site and go to their YouTube channel and look at their films. So y'all can be abreast of what I say tomorrow, because y'all going to be lost in the sauce if you don't read. If y'all don't watch the video. Okay? Okay? Because I'm going to be asking questions and y'all going to be like, what the fuck is she talking about? Go there and you will find out. I'm just saying. And then like their page, because they're on Instagram. Where else are y'all on?
We just started TikTok, but we're still figuring it out. But we have YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. But remember, we halted for the pandemic, so we're just starting it back up. But you can see what we've done in the past out there.
Y'all need to get their numbers up, because we support indie around these parts. If you following me, I expect you to support indie, because that's what I be talking about. I'm just saying. And if you want a full one-stop shop, you will support the Boozy Book Baddies. The Boozy Book Publishing Solutions LLC. One-stop shop. Emails the person that you need help from. And then the Boozy Book Baddies community, ARC, beta, cover, they there. I'm just saying. And y'all need to check out Rowdy's books. I don't know where y'all at.
I have them here.
He even has a TikTok shop, y'all.
I do have a TikTok shop.
What I always say, buy from the indie authors first and then Kindle it later.
Thank you, Akira. I love her too.
And with that being said, thank you, Rowdy. Thank you for coming on here with me. I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow, because these questions are going to be totally different.
Yeah,
they ain't gonna have nothing to do with your books. They're going to be totally different. But I appreciate you. I respect you so much. And I look forward to the future of you owning your own production. You and your partner, Sunshine, owning your own production studio. Where y'all do indie authors and filmmakers justice, because they're going to be coming to you, not the likes of someone who mimics Black women.
Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about it tomorrow, because there's something about a female director as opposed to a male director directing romance and things. It's a whole different thing. The female gaze is different.
I just want you to know I have been on your YouTube channel studying to ask questions.
I haven't even been on for a while. Oh God, I gotta get back out there and see what we put out.
I am studying y'all, and I'm.
Is it our third post? Those are so ridiculous, but we did win awards for those. I don't even know.
And I have been watching your lives and listening to the both of you, and my mind has been. So my questions are based off of what I've seen.
Okay, good. We got a podcast too. We had a podcast too, an esoteric one.
Oh shit! Well, Olivia, it's at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. I will be back on with Rowdy Gunshy Productions, and we will be talking about indie films tomorrow. But I would advise any authors that are on here, it will behoove you to be there because there might be an opportunity for you in that. Be there. I'm telling you, you might want to do it. It's important because marketing is a thing.